pretty well known now that Amazon's Ring has partnered with police all around the country, now over 800 agencies. A new article has confirmed that yes, unfortunately, there is almost no data or evidence from any of these agencies that Ring actually detours crime, not to mention even a decent number of arrests made as a result of video footage. And lawmakers are starting to respond to the surveillance issue posed by Ring, as well as a previous Amazon executive who revealed he disables his Amazon Echo during sensitive conversations. It's like Zuckerberg who says he doesn't let his kids use Facebook. Come on, people, wake up! All of this is just reassuring privacy advocates that surveillance technology does not seem to be effective. On the upside, Amazon has made 2FA mandatory for Ring users to improve security, as well as tightening some of its privacy policies as a result of criticism towards its data sharing policies with Facebook and Google. So yes, Amazon had a very busy week. Google has had kind of a mixed week, starting with their good ban of almost 600 apps and developers of those apps who were committing ad fraud and serving disruptive ads to users. One of these was Cheetah Mobile, which hopefully should come to no surprise to anyone who's actually used those apps before. I can say I have, and this does not come as a surprise. Google also is moving over to an Apple-style notification request for location, which specifically asks for single-time or permanent access to users' location permission, which has been a huge issue for advertisers collecting background location data without explicit user consent. Google didn't have the cleanest week though, as Google has confirmed it will not be giving UK Google users their previous stricter EU privacy regulations and will be using the US jurisdiction. Oh no. GDPR will still apply, but this does actually really suck for the UK. But if you're not in the UK, don't worry, Google will still snag you up, as they've revealed Chrome version 80 contains a new browser capability called scroll-to-text fragment, which is a deep linking technology that many are calling a privacy nightmare. This allows Google to index websites and share links down to a single word of text and its position on the page without needing the permissions of the web author. Reps from both Brave and Firefox publicly stated they urge them to stop this, at least without further testing or, making sure we all get some kind of word in this, but no. And lastly, Google got caught in some legal trouble, which actually raises a lot of interesting questions. An anonymous reviewer left a review about a dentist, and the dentist sued Google, saying they needed to reveal who the user was as the reviewer was defaming their business with a fraudulent review under an anonymous account with no accountability. The dentist ended up winning, and Google was forced to hand over the reviewer's information, which raises the question of how do we ensure people don't fraudulently attack a business while maintaining user privacy, especially in relation to public health data involved in a review. I don't have an answer, but it sure is a great question to think about at 3 a.m. when you have nothing else to think about, and I can't think of any good solutions for this one, so leave a comment what you think about that one. Apple's independent repair program, which was originally praised for opening up repairs to third parties, is now coming under scrutiny for invading user privacy, as Apple can request a customer's address and other personal information from the third-party repair stores. Louis Rossman covers this, and if you want to see a lot of birds thrown at Apple, that's where you're gonna get it. On the other hand, Apple made a great move to drop and warn users about long-life security certifications in Safari. Samsung has had a really rough week. They got publicly shamed by Google, who scolded them for lowering the security of Android and increasing attack surface. More reason to stick with Google devices for utmost security on the Android side, and, Graphene OS is OP if you want the security of Google devices without the privacy issues. Samsung also caused a lot of red alerts to go off as a weird notification was sent to users simply reading 1 and 1. As part of their Find My Mobile app, even for people who never enabled the feature. Privacy advocates are asking lots of questions about what kind of access and capabilities Samsung has over its devices, but Samsung assured, it's okay. No one needs to worry. It's all going to be okay. And to finish out other company news quickly, Firefox has announced their VPN is in beta. This is just a rebranded Molvad VPN, so it's not that big of news. But Molvad is our highest rated service on our channel, so I don't think they could have gone with really a much better service overall. Watch our review on them here if you're interested. Microsoft announced it wants to bring its Defender antivirus to iOS and Android. Literally no one asked for this, and I can't think of a use case for an iOS antivirus, but they're doing it. MasterCard has announced it wants to maybe someday track commuters and by the way they walk to verify transactions. WordPress had a critical bug, big surprise, more news revealing that anonymous data is total marketing BS, this time from leaked documents on companies who buy credit card data. Facebook now wants to pay you to record your voice through pronunciations, which is their new program that pays you through this weird point system, which you might earn like $5 from. So if you want to be paid for your voice, use that. Or you can join that Firefox campaign going on and actually contribute to something meaningful. And finally, 10.6 million personal details were leaked by hackers, which seems to have affected Justin Bieber and Jack Dorsey. So maybe people will take interest now, especially the child girls who like Justin Bieber, if that's still how things work nowadays. I don't know. I haven't followed Justin Bieber in a while. Finally, on to research. Researchers from UChicago have created a wearable microphone jamming device that makes all microphones in a room sound like a YouTube video that was recorded on a windy day outside with an iPhone 4. Seriously, it actually makes all noises practically inaudible to the microphones. It's like the device used in V for Vendetta, which is very, very cool stuff. It's awesome. Researchers from the University of Washington were able to encode malware in a strand of DNA, which could infect the computer in which the DNA is loaded onto, which opens up a whole new world of possibilities. This is really cool. It's wild and scary, but you can't help but just think that's cool. In other news, as we can all expect with voting applications, the Votes blockchain voting app allows hackers to seize control of ballots. Apparently, throwing blockchain at things doesn't fix all the security issues. MIT discovered this, and this is the app that was used in West Virginia. Now, for the record, this research didn't directly exploit the application or find a direct exploit. It just introduces the fact the application can be exploited if an attacker achieves root access to a device, which is a bit misleading of a headline, if you ask me, but still, digital voting proves to be problematic. Each week, we have more news to back this up. Stop the digital voting fad. Ugh. A team of cybersecurity researchers found a dozen vulnerabilities affecting Bluetooth, again, something that we should have all seen coming. And lastly, on the topic of connected devices, a report has shown that just about half of connected medical devices are vulnerable to Bluekeep, which is a vulnerability in Microsoft's Remote Desktop Protocol service. The sad thing is Microsoft had a patch for this since May of 2019, and the only reason this can affect half of connected medical devices today is because they're implementing outdated and unpatched software. These are real lives we're talking about here, and we may lose them someday because someone wasn't competent enough to keep their software up to date, which is really unfortunate, and we really should be pushing people to keep their software up to date. On to politics. Let's start with AI, which definitely got in the headlines this week. Apple, Google, and Facebook flew down to the EU to make a case for why they are worried about regulations imposed on them for AI and how it could stifle their technology. On the other hand, Elon Musk has said he believes all advanced AI should be regulated, including at Tesla, to prevent his fear of the uncontrollable AI in our foreseeable future. The EU is now set to impose regulations on facial recognition and AI, which could place a full-out temporary ban on the tech in public. However, this is still a draft, and we're waiting on the final regulations to be passed. Moving over to the catching up North America, California police have been illegally sharing license plate reader data in an unsurprising turn of events where data is misused. The audit found that of 320 million images captured over the last several years, which could be used to track individuals and their habits, 99.9% of them had nothing to do with any cars of interest, and they were stored in a department database for more than 5 years. The LAPD even adds pieces of sensitive information to the images such as birth dates, names, addresses, and more. It's unfortunate that California is one of the few states who's done an audit on this, and they're encouraging other states to follow. The Defense Department agency of the US suffered a potential breach that may have included personal data like social security numbers. This is the same agency that provides direct support to the president, VP, their staff, the Secret Service, and more very important things. It's okay though, because DISA has apologized and assured they care about your data. Speaking of data, the broadband industry, which for the record is absolutely corrupt and everyone's least favorite set of companies, has fought against a law passed in Maine designed to protect the privacy of broadband users. These ISPs have responded by saying it is their First Amendment right to sell private data because these regulations impose on their free speech. Yeah. Over in New Mexico, they are suing Google over children's privacy laws, saying Google, through their education software used in most schools throughout the country at this point, is using its education products to spy on children. And the last North American news is aimed at Huawei, who has been charged by the US for stealing trade secrets from 6 companies, one of which was Cisco in San Jose, and Huawei responded by saying that this is stifling competition. I'm seeing a pattern here with companies wanting to claim stifling technology, stifling competition, or imposing on your First Amendment right as a company. And now for the rest of the world. In the EU, the Commission staff have been encouraged to use the Signal messaging app because of its benefits over other messengers like WhatsApp and iMessage. Over in Israel, after their last incident from last week with the voting, they are hit again, this time more severely. Twice, in 2 of their apps, making 3 data breaches in 1 week for them. Again, online voting. Not smart. Iran has been stepping up their hacking game, supposedly planting backdoors in VPN servers, specifically targeting Pulse Secure, Fortinet, Palo Alto Networks, and Citrix VPNs. And last but not least, the first use of deepfakes have been used in an Indian election campaign where fake videos show the president of the BJP speaking in different languages. You should actually go and watch them. They're really cool to watch and also scary, but yeah, it's cool and scary. It's pretty much every new technological advancement today. And finally, we have our misfits. Our Mine is back, attacking accounts. They gained access to Facebook's Twitter and Instagram account last week, and now this week they hit Barcelona and the Olympics account. It's like they're out for the sports teams. The worst part of this is knowing you got hacked by someone who calls themselves Our Mine. The sad use of the term misfits is now unfortunately being targeted towards inmates who had their data exposed online in an unsecured cloud storage bucket. It includes some sensitive data like inmate check-ins as well as their prescriptions. And the cryptocurrency scene has been pretty slow lately, but no longer, as IOTA, a microtransaction cryptocurrency with the aim of helping enable IoT devices on a large scale, had to shut down their network because of an attack on the Trinity wallet, which took advantage of a vulnerability. It's estimated that around $1 million in IOTA coins have been stolen, but that doesn't seem to be a final value. And back in California, Fight for the Future has won a battle against UCLA to ban facial recognition on campus, which UCLA has been using on its students. This marks just one university who has and still uses facial recognition in the US. I encourage you to visit the movement's websites and check for your school. If it's not there, contact Fight for the Future to investigate your own school. I'm currently in the process of doing this myself. And finally, the last article. A spyware app called KidsGuard leaked phone data of thousands of victims. This is actually a pretty sophisticated app which very sneakily hides itself on Android devices and even does things like take secret screenshots before sending a disappearing message on Snapchat to retain and share messages. That's just for Snapchat. There's other cool tools used for other social media platforms. All this data was stored on a cloud server that was accidentally set to public without a password. This is just sad, especially since it's geared towards children. Parents, use only first-party tools to protect your devices. Please do not install third-party services to monitor your children. You will do more harm in the long run. I can almost guarantee it. It will be a breach. There will be something bad that happens if you use third-party services. Just don't do it. And that wraps up all the news. I will tell you, it was a royal pain in the butt to get all these sources together this week. I thought every week, all right? Every week it starts out Monday through Tuesday through Wednesday. Wow, it's much easier to do this week. There's not much news. And then boom, Thursday comes around and Friday, and then, yeah, pile on the news, guys. Pile on the news. It's okay, we can handle it. Make sure to join our communities and make sure to start watching Go Incognito if you haven't already. Also become a patron on our Patreon if you enjoy donating money. If not, you can tip us on that. Yeah, everything's in the description. I don't know why you need to listen to me. Just check the description, read that, and yeah, I'll cut the video. See you guys later.